Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This video is brought to you by First Detachment Nutrition. Battle tested, expert formulated. Use discount code AB10 at checkout for 10% off. What's up, everyone? Back for another week check-in. 7 weeks out from Masters Nationals. Things are rolling along. This past week was a little bumpy, and I'll get into all of it in just a second, but definitely hit some speed bumps this past week. I'll tell you what all went on, but such as prep. Shit happens sometimes. Nothing ever goes perfectly. There's some things sometimes you just have to work through. And that's just how life goes. You just got to keep rolling, putting one foot in front of the other. What's up, Geronimo? Really big fan of you. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. It's weird for me hearing people that are fans of me. I can't get used to people knowing who I am. It's really weird. I appreciate it, though. What's up, Bobby? What's up, Wolfgang? All right. Let me get the presentation up here, and we'll go through everything where I'm at with the prep right now. Tina says things are getting serious, looking great. Paul, Las Vegas is training, and Las Vegas training with my coach. That's awesome. Yeah, this is the back half where things tighten up. I actually enjoy the last part of prep more than the first part, and I find that most people struggle mentally. At least when I'm coaching people, they struggle mentally with the first half of prep because you're grinding away at cardio, you're hungry, you're doing a diet, and you just don't seem to look better. And it's just like I call it the skinny fat phase. I actually stole that from Justin Harris, so I shouldn't take credit for that. But it's the skinny fat phase where you're soft, you're still a little pudgy. You don't quite look like you're ready for the stage, and it can be a real mind fuck. You're like, damn, am I losing all my muscle? I'm losing weight. I'm not looking any better. Am I doing the right things? And this is it just really messes with your head. And when you get into that second half of prep, usually somewhere around 7 or 8 weeks out, you're going to start seeing rapid progress from week to week. And then it gets to be rapid progress from like the last 4 weeks. It's like every day you wake up, you look better. So that I actually find that even though it's a bit more of a physical grind, you're tired, you're hungry, I find that emotionally it's easier to deal with the second half of the prep. And I find that my clients, people that I work with on prep, that they tend to thrive better at that last part. Usually when people drop out, it's in the first 8 weeks. If they're going to drop out of prep, it's in the first 8 weeks. If they can make it past the first 8 weeks, then we're good to go. But I feel like that is the hardest part. Yeah, Tina said you see changes almost daily. Yeah, that's the fun part of it. Bobby, I'll get into the trend thing here in a little bit. We'll talk about that. What's up, Marty? Doug, being a 44-year-old aspiring bodybuilder, you're an inspiration, brother. Love watching your progress. Thanks, man. I was a mess at 44. I'm sure you guys have seen my pictures. I was fat and just trying to get back into things. Amy, I completely agree with the first half. It's hard to see the progress through the forest, through the trees sometimes. Yep, that is 100% true. The second half. So this week, let's see, last check-in was Thursday. I think it was Friday. Maybe it was Thursday last week. I don't remember. I think it was Friday. I don't remember. But towards the end of last week, I hurt my shoulder. And he's laying behind me. The person or thing that caused my shoulder injury was my dog. Bastard saw another dog and went running after him. And when a 160-pound dog goes running in a certain direction without you being aware of it, and he yanked my arm, my left arm, and I've got a torn labrum in that arm, and my shoulder popped out of socket a little bit. And that is the shitty thing with having a torn labrum. You got to be careful with certain exercises and stuff. And sometimes shoulder will pop out of socket. And now my shoulder is extremely sore and I can't really lift that heavy. I can't lift that hard. So I had to take a couple days off from the gym. And I was just feeling beat up anyway. So it was a good time to do a deload. I try to do a deload about halfway through prep. Just time that in there anyway. So it sort of forced me to do a deload, but my shoulder, a week later, my shoulder's still pretty sore. I couldn't do, tonight was a back night at the gym. I couldn't do some of the pull down movements I normally do because it really hurt my shoulder. So I'm just going to have to roll with it and see what happens. I don't think it's going to impact anything really right now. This last half of prep, I'm just trying to maintain muscle. I'm not trying to gain anything. So I really don't need to lift super hard or heavy, just enough to maintain. But yeah, that sucked. And then the tren issues, I put a video up the other day about how the tren was killing me. I couldn't fucking sleep on the tren. I can deal with the other side effects. I can deal with the sweats. I can deal with the moodiness. I really don't get that moody with tren, honestly. I get a little anxious. I know some guys get angry and grumpy. I don't. I'm a pretty chill dude to begin with. Maybe I get a little short, like my patience gets a little less, but I think I'm generally a pretty patient person. It takes a lot to get me upset. I like to say I stay medium most of the time. If you upset me, you really have worked hard to upset me. Very rarely do I lose my shit. It takes a lot to get me to that point. So I don't have that effect with tren. I'm not unhinged on tren like some dudes are. The part that kills me that I can't take on tren is the feeling of just being wound up and not being able to sleep. I cannot fucking sleep when I'm on tren. It is the worst, man. It's just like my CNS is in overdrive. I feel like my body's a furnace. I mean, I've heard some people speculate the tren might be a thermic uncoupler. I don't know. I've never seen any study, any science that backs that up. But it certainly feels like it. Like it almost has like a DNP effect where I just get heated up. I can't sleep. I feel nauseous. I feel sick. It's almost like you're getting the flu. It's like you're running a fever. Maybe I've checked my temperature before. My temperature actually goes up. So I talked to Vigorous Steve. I guess everybody wants to know about the tren thing. And Vigorous Steve reached out to me and suggested that I try his approach, which was I've never even considered running this amount before, but doing 5 milligrams a day essentially. I think it was 35, and maybe it was even less. He said, but I don't know how you can measure out even less. But I'm trying 35 milligrams of 35 milligrams a week, and I cut it down to 5 milligrams a day. I'm already feeling better. He seems to think that you can get some of the cosmetic effect with it from that. I did notice that, within a couple of days, my body already started hardening up. And it was rapid. It was rapid changes. I always have rapid changes on trend. I talked to another pro off the record who said that he'll run trend in spots. He'll run it and do it for 2 weeks just to achieve a certain body composition. Then he'll pull it out, and then he'll put it back in if he needs to. So maybe that's an option too. But I feel like the detrimental effect on my sleep is probably just not worth it. Especially, we'll show you here in a minute my progress pics compared to where I was at last prep. I am way ahead of where I was on last prep right now. I mean, I look almost like I did 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, maybe. So I'm not far away from being in show condition. I had a DEXA scan done, and I was this was a week and a half ago, and I was at 7%, and I'm leaner than I was there. So I'm probably in the 6s now, would be my guess. And last year on stage, I stepped on stage around 6. So maybe I can get down to 5 this year. I don't know. I don't want to sacrifice full. There's always a fine line when you get down in that 5 to 7% range. I can already see my lines of my glutes. I still have a little bit of fat on my back, but we'll have to play that out and see if it's worth sacrificing fullness for additional leanness. But if I can get ready early, I think I can fill back out. Talking to AJ Sims, that seems to be the approach that he takes with guys. He gets all the fat off of them, and then early, 3 or 4 weeks out, tries to get them stage ready 3 or 4 weeks out, and then just coast into the show and fill them back out and have them looking fresh. But it was definitely a rough week. I felt beat up. All my health markers are fine, but I should show you my sleep app. I use Auto Sleep, and I was getting like 4 hours a night, and then I stopped all the stimulants on my last high day, and I didn't take Tren that day. It seems to have an immediate effect, just to see if I could get some sleep, and I slept over 9 hours or around 9 hours, something like that. I just went out, and then it's back to like I think this week. Last night was better, but I was averaging around 5 hours a night of sleep, and which is just not productive. Um, uh, Not productive, So I don't know, but anyway, that's where I'm at. All my health markers are fine. My weight's down 2 pounds from last week. It was down 4 as of um as of Sunday. I dropped after Justin raised my high day. I'm like 75 grams. I think it's 75 grams more carbs per meal than what I was starting prep, and I still lost weight. My metabolism's starting to do that shit where it goes crazy. I still lost weight, so I'll talk about it in a bit, but I messed around with my GH doses to see if I could get myself to fill back out. I also, I forgot about this. On Memorial Day, my older Mastiff got sick. He was really sick, and I had to take him into the emergency vet, and I was in there for like 8 hours, and I didn't have any food with cuckolding strength. No, I can see your comments. There you are, man. I haven't blocked you. I haven't pulled a Todd on you. I don't know why you can't see your comments. I haven't. Oh, Siri's talking to me. I don't know why Siri thinks I was talking to her. Anyway, no, I haven't blocked you, dude. You're good. Um. So yeah, I don't. It was just a fucked week, but I still, I kept it together. I am here. I look better than I did last week. So that's all you can do. You just keep working around things, and that's all you can do. All right, so let's take a look at the progress pics. This is where I'm at this week. Sorry, the picture's a little blurry. I don't know why the camera wouldn't focus this morning. I need to get a new phone. My phone's almost 3 years old. It's time to upgrade to a new phone. So this is these are the shitty light home pics. This is what I tell people all the time. When you start looking good under the shitty light pics, that's when you know you're getting ready for the stage. Let's see, Dave B. Do you do any over-the-counter sleep aids like I have ZQL I'll use once in a while, melatonin, magnesium glycinate, GABA. I mean, I've tried all of it. All of it. So, yeah, I use those. Um, yeah, but I'm tightening it up now. I'm pretty much like, I ran tamoxifen for a couple weeks. You can see the gyno is as small as it's going to get on the right-hand side. This fall, I need to get that fixed. There's just a little piece of gyno in there. That's why my nipple pokes out on that side. Everybody likes to focus on that fucking nipple. I gotta go get it fixed again. But anyway, I brought down my waist this off-season. People were talking about that. We'll look at that in a second. You can see I got lines in my glutes. Everything's really starting. Lines, shreds in my chest. It's hard, once again, shitty light check-in pictures. My glutes are shredded already. Still got a little bit of fat in my lower back, a little bit of fat on my back that I need to get rid of, but that's the last place that it comes in. Richard asks, have you heard about using Benadryl a few days out from the show to help with rest and sleep? That's what ZQL is. It's just Benadryl. It's just Benadryl. So yeah, you take that and a melatonin, it'll knock you out. But the problem that I have with that when I use it is I'm freaking groggy all day the next day and I can't think, and I have to be on my toes for work. So it's like this fine line that I have to walk. Have you tried THC CBD hypothetical? It's legal in my state. Yeah, I get these snooze gummies I've used from time to time. They're THC and THN, is that right? Or CBN. THC and CBN is what CBN's the part that makes you sleepy, and marijuana. I use those sometimes. Snooze gummies is the brand that I get, but those also make me feel fucking groggy the next day. Like I just like I'm not mentally sharp. I need to be mentally sharp for work. Um, all right, so let's go on here. This is I put these up on Instagram today. This I this is why you keep progress pics and you track everything you do. I was feeling kind of bummed about my off season because I didn't feel like it was very productive. I just cruised, to be honest with you. I mean, people won't believe that, but I was just doing bodybuilder TRT plus this off season. I was traveling a lot, so it was hard to get training, and there's just a lot going on in my personal life. So I compared where I was at 7 weeks out on my last prep versus 7 weeks out on this prep, and you can see I am considerably further along than I was on the last prep. I'm 255. I was 250 there. I'm probably 11% body fat in that one. I'm 6.5, 7 now, and I'm 5 pounds heavier. So there's probably another 8, 10 pounds of tissue that I've added or have hung on to. Maybe it's hung on to. I don't know. So have I tried what? Have I tried drinking the steroid and get benefits? No, you can't drink Tren. It's not going to do anything if that's what you're talking about. Um, you can see here where I mean my shoulders improved. I really worked hard. I did work hard on bringing up my lats. I worked hard on bringing up my lats, and I think I achieved that. I also worked hard to tighten up my waist and improve my digestion this off season. I don't know why I can't say that word. And something I haven't talked to Justin about this because I don't think Justin likes fasting, and I'm not a big. I've not been a big fan of fasting, a proponent of fasting for some people. It just seems counterintuitive if you want to grow that you should fast. But this off season, not every week, but usually like once a week, I would what I would do is instead of my low day, I would do a 24-hour fast. I would eat my last meal around the 8 p.m. the night before, and then not eat another meal until 8 p.m. the end of my low day, my off day from the gym. And the main reason I did it wasn't for some crazy GH benefit or whatever the fasting people, the cult of fasting people say. What I wanted to do is clear out my GI because I have IBS. I wanted to give my GI a break. I wanted to let inflammation in my stomach come down because I think a lot of I had a lot of digestion issues on my last prep. It was brutal. I was constantly having digestion issues and bloating and gas and diarrhea, and I haven't really had that this prep. And I think a lot of it was because I really focused on letting my stomach have some time to heal. I've done one fast on this prep. It was kind of forced, but just to give myself a break. But you can see it improved my midsection. My midsection is smaller. My midsection is tighter at a heavier weight. Yeah, Tommy, you're right. If you're always slamming food, your gut can't recover. I mean, that's kind of my thought process. And I can tell look, I'm your typical bodybuilder. I'm just a dummy. I'm going to push through. Like if I feel like I'm going to barf, I'm still going to eat my chicken and rice. Or if I feel like I'm going to rip my shoulder out of socket, I'm still doing shoulders. I've wisened up as I've gotten older and stopped being a stupid bro and try to listen to my body and take feedback from my body. Not everything's going to work like it should on the spreadsheet. If my body is telling me that something's not working, I've been trying to take a step back and give myself a break. So that's what I've been doing with the digestion. If my stomach is feeling a little off, I try to get ahead of it and I'll do a fast. But you can see the difference here. Dave says you should get Roman on for his fasting. I actually talked with Roman about this. I didn't know that he did fasting, and he was telling me we had we have a group chat. We talk, me and some of the guys with Roman, and he had mentioned that he does fasting. I didn't realize that he did it too. But yes, I'd love to get Roman on sometime. He's hard to pin down. Okay, so next one, you can see here the sides. Some of it's better posing. I've got my posing better. You can see 7 weeks. This is where you can really see the conditioning versus last year. I mean, my hamstrings are in. I worked on bringing my hamstrings and my legs up this year. You can see I have more quad size from the side. I worked on bringing my glutes up and my back. You can see I have more hamstring depth and definition. My glutes were improved. Definitely more definition. My chest is, you can just see it overall here. Back is another one I worked on improving. I think a lot of my back issues were actually posing more so than back development. So I've been working on improving. I have a big back, I think. I don't know. I have some problem on the right side of my body where everything doesn't fire the same, but you can see it in my lat. My lat, there's like some atrophy here in the middle of my lat on that right-hand side. I had a car accident in my 30s and I broke my neck, and so I think there's some neurologic damage where I just can't fire everything correctly on that side. Let's see here. Anyway, that's it. Right, we're in the diet section now, so this is applicable. Togi Zanen, I don't know. I'm probably not saying your name correctly. What do you think about 600 grams of protein a day? I couldn't eat that much protein. There's no fucking way I could eat that much protein and digest it. I know like guys like Milo Sarchev have guys push that much protein. I could do it when I was younger, but it would ruin my gut. It would absolutely ruin my gut if I tried to push that much protein. Protein is very hard to digest. I'm going to make a protein video with Justin Harris at some point. We'll dig into protein, but you can do the math on it. I don't... a pound of muscle is, there's 2.2 pounds in a kilo, so it's something like 450 grams of total weight in a whole pound of muscle, and only like 30% of that is actual protein structures. The rest of it's just water and other stuff, glycogen. It's just other stuff. So, I mean, really, at the end of the day, in a pound of muscle, there's only like 150 grams of actual protein that needs to be synthesized. Now, that's not to say that you need 150 grams of protein, or you need, if we did the math out, if you need like 5 grams of protein a day to grow 10 pounds of muscle a year, something like that. I don't remember the exact numbers. You have protein turnover. Your body has an amino acid pool that it needs to maintain. So it's not that simple, but to actually synthesize new tissue, it doesn't take that much. So, and when you eat excess protein, a lot of it just gets wasted anyway. Your body either converts it through gluconeogenesis into carbohydrates, or you just end up pissing it out. You'll see on people's blood work where their blood urea nitrogen gets way too high, and it's from eating too much protein. Your body just has all this excess nitrogen sitting around, and you don't need it, so you're just putting extra stress on your body and digestive system, your GI, and really what you're doing is just eating really expensive carbs. So eat a little less protein, eat more carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are easier to digest, so that's just kind of my philosophy on it. Now, with that said, I do eat more protein than what a general person would need. I would think if I were non-enhanced, I'd probably keep it around. I'm just trying to maintain probably somewhere around 0.7 grams per pound. Somewhere around there. Okay, so my current macros, nothing changed. I need to update the high day. Justin pushed up my high day. So my high day is actually incorrect on here. My high day now, I'm trying to do the math on it, is 75, let's see, 150, 300, 375 grams more carbs. So I'm up to about 1,200 grams of carbs on my high day now. That would put me at, probably 6,500 calories on my high day and around 1,200 grams of carbs. And I still lost weight, and I'm still flat. I flattened out this week. That just shows you what a blast furnace my metabolism can be sometimes. We have not lowered my diet at all in like 6 weeks. I don't think 5 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that. We've actually had to push the food up. That's unusual. I don't want people to go out and I get guys all the time and say, my clients are like, hey, I can't do this. Why can't I do this? And I'm like, because you're just not me, man. I have a very unusual, weird metabolism. I'm only doing 20 minutes of cardio 5 days a week, just light walking on the treadmill. I mean, most people aren't going to get the results I get doing this. I'm not trying to brag or anything. It's actually kind of a curse sometimes because I lose muscle really easily. It makes it in the off season. It makes it really hard too because like I said, I struggle with digestion sometimes. So I have to really work with the food. So anyway, my macros on the medium day, which is all training days that are a non-high day. I do one high day per week. I'm going to do my high day tomorrow on chest, just because I'm hungry. I need a high day. I usually do it on leg day or back day, but it just didn't work out that way this week. So 370 grams of protein. That's what I do. It works out to about 1.5 grams per pound, somewhere around there. 350 grams of carbs on my medium days. I do 37 grams of added fats. I don't count trace fats that are in the meats, but I try to eat lean meats, usually chicken, mostly what I eat. Once in a while, protein shake. My added fats usually come from olive oil, fish oil, flax oil, nuts, shit like that. My high day macros right now, like I said, it's probably more like 1,200 grams of carbs and somewhere probably more like 6,500 calories by the time I have a cheat meal. And the fats in here are from the cheat meal, just to keep that in mind. And my low day is right now, it's any non-training day. Typically, I only do one non-training day per week. This week, I took 2 days off in the gym just to give myself a little extra break. My protein's the same on those days, 360. Carbs are 250 grams and 72 grams of added fat. So I pull the carbs down, put a little more fats back in. And the fats come from EFAs. Let's see your question. Farbad, could you tell the difference between whey and real food protein just in order of muscle growth, not inflammation, GI tract issues? I mean, whey protein, when you look at it on paper, it's a very, very, it's a higher quality as far as absorption or, quality protein. It's about the highest quality protein you can have. The issue with whey is it gets digested so quickly. You're going to have this spike of amino acids, and then you're going to be in a situation where you might be not have any present, and you never know when muscle grows. So what I'll do is just sip on my shake over a long period of time if I have one. It's also, a lot of people have digestive issues with whey, and that's what I've seen. People have GI and gut inflammation and all sorts of GI issues with whey. If your protein powder is making you fart, you're not absorbing it. That's a dead giveaway. People talk about the protein farts. Protein should not make you fart if it's being assimilated correctly. If not, you're having a digestive issue with it. Let's see here. Let's move on here. Current PEDs. This is the spicy stuff, the things that everybody wants to talk about. Testosterone right now is 150 milligrams a day. Primo is 150 milligrams a day. Masteron's 150 milligrams a day. That is a nice, simple, easy cycle. As I mentioned earlier, I reduced the trend down to 5 milligrams a couple days ago. I'm already feeling better. This is the Vigorous Steve protocol. I'm going to try and see what happens. I mean, it's, I feel like 5 milligrams is probably silly, but it's worth trying, right? It's not going to hurt anything having 5 milligrams in there, right? So we'll see what happens. We'll just leave it in. Estrogen management right now is 25 milligrams of exemestane every other day. People ask me why I switched from Arimidex to exemestane. For no other reason than I was out of Arimidex and I had some exemestane sitting around. That's it. There's no logic behind it. It's just what I had. I dropped the tamoxifen. I ran that for a couple weeks to shrink up the gyno flare up as much as I possibly could. It did reduce, I'd say, about half, and it doesn't hurt anymore. It's not sore anymore, so that's as good as it's going to get without surgery. Peptides right now, I bumped the HGH. I'm running Pharma HGH. I was running 9 units a day. After I had that rapid weight loss this weekend, I dropped 4 pounds in like 2 days. I bumped the HGH up to 18 to see if I could fill myself back out a little bit. I may pull that back down because it is incredibly expensive running that much Pharma HGH, so that may come back down. I'm only running insulin on my high day, and actually last week on my high day, even with all the carbs, 5 units of Humalog made me go hypo. So I am probably getting to that point in my prep where I need to drop the insulin. It's just not productive at this point. We'll see. I just play it by ear and see how my body responds to it. Fat burners right now, I run an ECA stack, ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin, for those of you that are wondering. 200 milligrams of caffeine, 25 milligrams of ephedrine, 81 milligrams of aspirin per dose. I mostly have been running 1 dose per day of that. Sometimes I'll do 2. On a low day, I'll run 2, maybe just get a little extra fat burning. That also affects my sleep. Ephedrine really negatively affects my sleep. I tolerate clenbuterol very well. Last year, I dropped the ephedrine towards the end of prep. Stimulants just certain stimulants seem to really bother me. Clen is a selective beta agonist. Ephedrine is not. So the CNS stimulation I get from ephedrine is just too much sometimes, in combination with the caffeine. Hell, sometimes I can drink a big cup of coffee in the morning and I still am buzzing from it at night. I'm a slow metabolizer of caffeine. Let's see here. Noah asked, he's like, I have severe gyno in my test is 410. Went to the endocrinologist and he gave me 2 shots of 200 testosterone 2 weeks apart. It feels like the gyno is getting worse. Why? I don't understand that. Spacing the shots further apart is going to make it's mind-boggling to me that how these endocrinologists don't know how this shit works. You probably need an AI. I don't know why you wouldn't have you on an aromatase inhibitor. And spacing the shots out further is not going to make it better. Go to Steroid Plotter and look at the dose curves on it. I would do smaller, more frequent shots, and you're going to get a less aromatization, thus less issues with gyno. You need to be I'm not giving you medical advice, but I would discuss with your doctor about getting on an aromatase inhibitor. Do you drop your HGH a few weeks before the show to dry out? And I try to leave it in as long as I possibly can. I'll leave it in right up. I don't have a problem getting dry. If anything, I get too dry. Everybody's different. Some people are water buffalo. Some people aren't. I'm not. I don't retain water. I'm generally thin-skinned, and I don't need to drop water. That a lot of times, like, I don't even need a diuretic one in the show. I just dry out really well. So I leave the HGH in up until, I don't know, 3-4 days out, and then I'll pull it. I find that if I pull it too early, I lose a lot of my fullness. And other guys are completely different, so it's different from person to person. See, the primo concentration among 7 to 8K per nanogram per milliliter, but testosterone is 4 to 5K. EQ is almost equal. Best ratio is hard. I mean, yeah, it's person dependent. Oh yeah, sorry for the misspelling. I spoke to the endocrinologist. He's 73. Oh God, yeah. Well, there's your problem. You need go to a TRT clinic. That would be my advice. They're going to have doctors that are up to date on this shit. You're old ass endocrinologist probably doesn't know what he's doing. Let's see, the doctor know what HCG was. Yeah, well, I don't use HCG. If you're having gyno, HCG is going to make it even worse. Paul, what is your A1C in the off season versus prep? How does it change? I've talked about this at times. I'm a weird type of diabetic. I'm a type 1B. I have pancreatic insufficiency where I don't make enough insulin. Sometimes I do. On contest prep, I find that my pancreas can keep up with what I'm making and my glucose levels stay in line. In the off season, I need to run Lantus to keep up with it, and it is prescribed. I'm not self-prescribing Lantus. I have a prescription from my doctor for it, and it depends on how diligent I am. If I'm diligent in keeping on top of it, I can keep it into the 5s. But there's been times where I get lazy and it'll get up into the 6s, which is not good. On contest prep, it'll go back down into the low 5s. Where and how are you pinning? Oh man, there's no way I could pin sub Q with all the gear I'm taking. I'm taking 2.5 cc's of gear every day. There's no fucking way you could do that sub Q. I don't know. I don't understand the whole sub Q cult. HCG is going to increase estrogen conversion, dude. It's going to make your gyno worse. Yeah, that's just going to make your gyno worse. You're getting some bad advice from your endocrinologist. All right, let's move on here. Health supplements, glucose management. I run berberine on my high days. The suppressor max product from First Detachment. You can pick it up over there with discount code AB10. Whole food multivitamin 2 times a day. Vitamin C, 2,000 milligrams per day. 5,000 units of vitamin D with K2. I didn't write that on here, but it is with K2. I have 1,200 milligrams of citrus bergamot, 100 milligrams of quinol CoQ10, 1,200 milligrams of red rice yeast extract, all for lipids, the lipid management. Milk thistle and tugka for the liver health, astragalus, the renal reset product from First Detachment. You can get that there as well. For digestion, oxbio on my high days with my meals. Digestive enzymes, psyllium husk nightly. I added in some DAO as well for some of the foods that cause histamine response. Also, guys, I just wanted to mention quickly we have the Anabolics e-course up. If you guys want to learn more about anabolics, we have, I don't know, something like 80 or 90 modules up now. 40 or so hours worth of content on PEDs. It's pretty comprehensive. I'm very proud of the work that we put into it. There's a link in the video description if you want to check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. There is a couple hours worth of free content. If you go over to the webpage, you can check out too. And you can see all the curriculum over there if you want to check it out. I have monthly and yearly payment options if you want to check it out. Okay. RX meds right now. I'm on telmisartan, 40 milligrams. Telmisartan. Jesus Christ, I can never say that correctly. Telmisartan. I sound like a certain evidence-based educator saying telmisartan. Telmisartan, blah, if I can talk. I have to watch it with the Clin. Sometimes you get low blood pressure with Clin. What about T3? I do not use T3. Some people do. Some people don't. I don't need it. T3 just melts my muscle. T3, the problem with T3 that I've run into, it seems to be equally as good at melting muscle as it is with burning fat. So if you're a lard ass and you need to get a bunch of fat off, it's a quick way to get it off. If you have a very slow metabolism, it might be a way to get it off. Sometimes towards the end of prep, your thyroid will downregulate. You can check that with blood work. It may be an option to add in if you have thyroid downregulation. But with the carb cycling diet and throwing in the high carb days, hopefully you can mitigate some of that just through the diet. Is there any problem with wait a minute, is there any problem with over-the-counter insulin? I'm not talking about sourcing insulin. Is telmisartan one of the best BP meds? I don't know. It's gotten popularity in the bodybuilding community. It is a BP med. I mean, any of the ARBs are probably fine. Those are going to treat the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone pathway, basically water retention. A lot of our blood pressure problems as bodybuilders are just from water retention, and this will help mitigate that aspect of it. ACE inhibitors work too. The problem with ACE inhibitors that I've run into, and that's usually the first line of defense, the doctors are going to prescribe something like lisinopril. ACE inhibitors can give you a dry cough and affect your respiratory system. Like I just like my lungs always feel congested when I don't know, itchy, dry. I don't know how to describe it when I'm on an ACE inhibitor, but I ran ACE inhibitors for a while. Let's see. Noah, how can one contact you for general information? Instagram, DM. My contact information is in the video description. Open up the video description. I have everything there. Probably the best way to contact me is just to shoot me an email. I get so many, or use the contact form that's in there. I get so many damn people DMing me on Instagram anymore. I can't keep up with it. I probably get 50, 60 DMs a day. I just don't even pay attention to most of them. It's just too much to look at. I would never get anything done. Let's see here. All right. Next. Training right now, I'm using an RP style training. I've talked about this before. Like I said, I backed off this week. I constantly have to remind myself on prep, my goal is not to get bigger. It's to not lose muscle, don't get hurt, and lose fat. Those are my objectives on prep. My current split is chest and tries on day 1, quads on day 2, hams and calves on day 3. I do back on day 4. I do delts and tries on day 5, and I do adductors, glutes, and hams on day 6. Did I have an extra day in here? So I hit back twice in a week. I hit chest and shoulders once a week because my chest and my shoulders sort of overpower everything. Also, my shoulder's grumpy and I can't train it in my chest twice a week. I feel like my chest and shoulders are a strong point. My back is a weak point, so I prioritize my back and my legs with my training. My volume is shifted there. And plans and thoughts right now, diet adherence. As I mentioned, I missed a couple meals when my dog was sick. There's nothing I could do about that. It's not like I plan on being at the emergency vet for 8 hours and you're not thinking about packing food when your dog is sick. Coach's feedback, he added more carbs on my high day. Planning 2 shows, as I've mentioned before. Masters Nationals on July 18th. North Americans at the end of August is my backup show. And folks, that is it. I'll give you a booby bounce as we exit. Any final questions, guys? Anything anybody wants to ask? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. All right, folks. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for watching. Take care.